right, this is Sam here. I just want to talk to you for a moment about the path to prosperity. So we're working in this series to set you up for success. Doesn't matter if you're a businessman who's already prosperous and you want to go to the next level and start another business, or whether you need to solve some problems in your marriage, or whether you need to just solve some problems in your business, or whether you're just stepping out of jail and you need a place to live and food to eat, and you need to build some kind of a future. So no matter what situation you are in, there is a path to success. So to set you up for success, that's a path. Let's call it the path to prosperity. Prospering, 3rd John, the third book of John, back here in the back. There's only one chapter, so there's only just a few verses there. So chapter 1, verse 3 said, Paul prays and he says, I pray that you would prosper even as your soul prospers. So there is a path to prosperity. So your spirit, soul, and body, we'll study more of this later. So when you connect with God, things start getting poured in through your spirit. We have to examine how that happens so that you unplug your well if your well is all clogged up. You know, in the old days of Israel, in the Old Testament, they told at one time the enemy defeated Israel by sneaking in at night under the cover of darkness, sneaking in the dark. You know, that could be dark thoughts, dark ideas, you know, in your mind, dark beliefs. They snuck in by night and they filled the well with rocks. Well, the well is that natural spring of living water from God Himself that Jesus talks about in John chapter 7, verse 37 to 39. Out of your belly will flow living water full of life. Well, you know, they snuck in at night and they dropped rocks. They would bring in rocks and fill up their well. And the well would stop flowing. They'd have nothing to drink. They'd have to move off that land and go somewhere else. So you can be defeated just because your well is full of rocks. Bad habits, bad ideas, bad beliefs. So the path to prosperity means we're going to unclog that well. That's one of the things we're going to do. We're going to teach you how to connect with God and get the flow of His power and His energy. Acts 1:8 says, you will receive power. So you need a power beyond yourself to succeed. So when your energy runs out, when your ideas run out, when your hope runs out, you have a new well springing up in you that all of its own accord, all by itself, without you working at it, it springs up, brings you faith, brings you hope, brings you love, and builds you up and brings you new energy, new hope, new ideas for breakthrough, new ways of doing things. So, but you put yourself on a path toward prosperity. Now, when that verse said, I pray that you prosper in your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. I've studied this a lot. Dr. Carolyn Leaf and others, Mr. Womack, and we'll learn a little bit more about him later. Is a great resource. Pastor Womack out in Colorado, studying how you're made up and how you work and understand that so you don't fight with it, you flow with it, and you release what you have and not contain what you have. That's part of the path to success. So we're preparing, let's put it like, let's bring it down to you're preparing to be prepared for prosperity, for breakthrough and success. You don't just say, I'm going to be successful, go out today and bam, you get hit by a steamroller and, oh, I'm nothing, I'm back where I was. No, while you're failing, while you're struggling, we are preparing to be prepared. You have to learn how to prepare to be prepared. There's a whole way to step into a cycle or a path of preparation. And so you have to build the preparation, then the preparation does its work, and then you begin to have breakthrough and step in. So don't get too anxious. Don't get too impatient. James chapter 1 says patience has to have its full work. So part of patience is you learn how to prepare to be prepared to step into new levels of success and prosperity. So this path begins with an absolute brutal honesty. If you take $1 billion business, I know at one time there was a bank, a major bank, I think it was MasterCard. They examined the books and found out they were losing $1 million a day. Now, can you imagine being so big that you can lose $1 million a day? What? You know? But so what they did to turn that around was they began with an absolute total clarity, honesty, transparency, a very clear, and I'll use the word brutal look at where we are right now. If your GPS can't take you anywhere if it doesn't know exactly where you're at right now. Then later we'll talk about the idea you have to have a vision for your life, to have to know where you're going, and then the path you can begin to discover the path between the two. And just like your GPS has to know where you're at right now, it has to know exactly, right down to the square yard where you're going. So you need a clear, measurable vision for your life. That's part of the path to prosperity. The path being set up for success means you have to get a vision for what you want to be, for what you believe you can be and should be. You have to have a clear vision of that and then a commitment to it. So this path is, I will be prepared to prepare. So that begins with an absolute, brutal, honest look at your daily habits. Because guess what? We're talking about changing your life in a year, 365 days, 365 decisions, 365 pathways, 365 thoughts, 365 beliefs, 365 decisions that will either build you up or tear you down, will either take you to the next level or slide you back into jail where you just came from. Either a jail of your thoughts, a jail of your checkbook, or the literal jail down where you just came out of. No, we don't want to go back to any of those jails. No. So we're going to learn to be prepared to prepare. We're going to step into a path towards success. And the path has to be clear so that way you know when you're stepping out of it, go whoop, whoop, and back in a hurry. You can't go off down a side path and not even know or realize that you're making destructive decisions out of destructive thoughts, out of destructive beliefs, and you've lived there so long you don't even know you're doing it, and then you end up in the crash. The wrecking ball hits your checkbook, the wrecking ball hits your relationships, the wrecking ball hits your life, the wrecking ball hits your health, and you don't even know you were going that way. Almost everybody that I coach that come with me, and I have this problem, I can trace that problem back to its beginning and the path they took to get to that problem. I don't have money for rent this month. What am I going to do? Well, we're going to believe God. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do, that you need to discover new ways. But the person who doesn't have rent money this month, guess what? I can go back 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 1 year, 365 decisions, 365 days, and I can see that they went down a path. They couldn't even see they were doing it. They were going down a path that brought them to this moment where they didn't have rent money or didn't have money to get food or didn't have money to fix their car. Now, we all have things that T-bone us, that hit us, and we're going to learn how to deal with T-bones. We all love a T-bone, don't we? When you say that, you think of a steak, a nice big T-bone steak. Well, if you don't eat the steak, if you don't get good, healthy nutrition in your thinking, you're going to get a different kind of T-bone. You're going to get a T-bone of destruction. You're going to get a wrecking ball. Is going to come in and hit you. And so you weren't prepared for that T-bone because you weren't thinking about it. You were setting yourself up for success. Well, to set yourself up for prosperity, to set yourself up for victory, to set yourself up for a new level, to set yourself up for breakthrough, you have to clearly see the path you're on, because decisions stack up and take you to a certain conclusion, a certain outcome. So one of our commitments is going to be is to the path, a clear look at where you're at, a clear look at where we want to take you. And you know what? I'm going to let you decide where you want to go. I can give you some ideas and some thoughts, but this has to be yours. You have to own it. You can't say, well, Sam must be right. I'm an idiot and Sam's doing so good. I'll just do whatever he said. No, no, no. I want you to think about what you want to be. And then I'll help you with that. So if you say, oh, I want to have multi-millions in the bank and you don't have rent this month, well, that may be that T-bone steak, you might choke on that. It might be a little bit too big for you to chew, for you to swallow, for you to digest that thing. It's going to constipate you. You're going to get choked on it. No, I'm going to help you set some realistic goals and set a realistic path on a 365 decisions. We're going to track those 365 decisions, and through 365 days, you might make 2 or 3 decisions in one day. So it's not an exact, matching up at 365 days, 365 decisions. No, but we are going to track your decisions, and we can even track 365 of them and see what the decision you made, how you made it, how it worked, how you evaluated that. But if you don't know where you're going, you can't evaluate it. This Bible, this book, this instruction book is going to tell you how to have a prosperous path. It's going to help you know how to have a vision for your life. Proverbs 23:7 says, as you think is what you're going to end up being. Whatever you think is what you become. And in the Bible, there's a whole book of ancient proverbs, of ancient wisdom that help you give track how you're doing. So there is a path. We've been talking about creating a positive path. So we even need to prepare to create this path. And you and I can do it together. All right, so I'm going to pray for you right now that there will be a new path for your life, a new path in the name of Jesus, a new future, a new outcome that you've never experienced before, that's better, that's newer, that's more fulfilling. I see you right now as clean, happy, healthy, productive, relational, and I see you in the ministry.